Young Justice Season 4, Episode 21. This was a pretty good episode overall. Like, I enjoyed the action and everything, but you know what? We're going to start out with one of the things we've been talking about, like, ever since Part 2 began, and that's the whole Zatanna thing. Last review, I gave up hope that they were going to do anything with it, and then they decided to prove me wrong and do some cool stuff with Zatanna's thing in terms of, you know, bringing everyone together to I'm guessing they were trying to talk to Connor.
His spirit. Yeah, from my understanding of it, it looked like they were trying to figure out whether they could find Connor's spirit.
Yeah.
And then now they've kind of realized they can't find it.
Yeah, I mean, the introductory scene gave us some context because she was trying to find him. Not Zatanna, but the Madame, I can't remember her name, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Madame something. But she was looking for Connor, and she mentioned, I've been doing this for like months now, I think. So that means that Zatanna's been trying to search for Connor's spirit for months. But I still find it weird that, you know, she just didn't tell anyone, you know? Like, she didn't tell McGann especially. Like, why?
I think, so I was speculating that the whole time too, because I'm just like, okay, so this was going on. Why didn't you mention it? And I think the only conclusion I can think was just that she wasn't, like, for example, right now. She wasn't sure? Well, one, sure, but two, wasn't like, for example, right now, like, she still can't bring him, right? So it's like she wanted to make sure she doesn't just go, hey, I found Connor, and then, okay, let's go explore that, and then they can't explore it and make her feel bad. So I think she just wanted that 100% credibility. This can be done. I can give it to McGann, and she doesn't have to worry about it, you know, something going. I suppose,
yeah. That's the best explanation I can think of. Also, it's Madame Xanadu. I just looked it up just to, you know, I don't want to just call her Madame whatever. But
exactly. We definitely want to give respect.
Yeah. I'm glad they're actually doing something with it, and it wasn't just a teaser. That makes me feel a whole lot better. It wasn't definitely a teaser. I was worried about that, but it's very funny because it's like, especially with everything that goes on with this episode. And again, this episode's really mixed for me, not in the sense that I hated it, but more in the sense of like, this is probably, in my eyes, the best episode they've shown so far of this season. But yet there's certain things that I didn't like. So it's like, I'm conflicted that even though there's certain things I didn't like, I think it's the best episode of this season. We'll get into it. The final thing I wanted to talk about in terms of Zatanna was her last statement about she needs a detective. Who do you think that is? I feel like it's gonna be Detective Chimp.
I think she's gonna find Batman. That's obviously the best detective. Like, we got to get Batman. Like, it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
like,
that makes the most sense. Detective Chimp has not been set up whatsoever, but I think it would be funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. We got it's what's gonna happen is it's gonna be Batman, but Batman's like, well, I have this protege named Tim Drake, and then she's gonna be like, screw Tim, we got Nightwing. So that's where we're gonna have Nightwing finally. So we'll see.
Oh, that's right. That's a good point. Yeah, bringing in Nightwing now. Yeah, that.
Oh, probably... I thought you were joking about the chip thing. I thought you seriously were joking.
I was joking, but it would have been funny to have seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was like half joking, half not joking. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Anyways, let's get into some of your grievances. Go ahead.
I mean, it wasn't okay. I can't even say a grievance because it's like it kind of goes with the whole arc in general. But I guess we should just start off with let me just start it off by talking about this episode, and then we'll go to like the whole arc in general. But let's start off with, for me, the biggest thing, which was the whole Lor-Zod, Mantis, Malifaux getting the Phantom Projector and almost about to achieve their goal, right? Like that whole there's just so much stuff that happened in this episode, and it was just very, very crazy, and it was just like, and I liked it. Like, I really, really enjoyed it, and it was just very. To me, what made it so amazing was that it almost seemed like every plot thread was being played out together. It didn't feel like different stories were playing differently. It was like everything was connecting, which is something we all love about Young Justice. Where it's
exactly.
This is happening and this is happening, and they're all part of this whole big plan. And
I think this was probably one of the only episodes that did that.
Exactly.
In the entire season. I feel
exactly.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I'd have to look back, but like there were so many scenes back in the earlier seasons, not earlier seasons, but earlier part of the season where they just like cut to Beast Boy being sad, you know?
Exactly.
but then this episode was straight up all like related to the Phantom Zone stuff.
Exactly. Everything was connected. And even with this, like going back to the whole them almost achieving their goal, like it was like I didn't know who to root for because part of me wanted to like, especially because with Lor-Zod's goal, like part of me wants to see Superboy come back. So it's like, oh my God, Superboy's about to come back. But then the other part of me is like, I don't want General Zod. So I'm like, I'm so mixed going on here.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, while all this is happening, one of the most weirdest things I didn't expect was the whole idea that with one of the Green Lanterns, I believe, trying to get his name, I think it's Tomar-re, if I'm correct, Tamare.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So Tomar-re, like that whole idea with him, like going, oh man, we have to stop this, like the monster that just comes out of the New Genesis, which I'm forgot his name already, but like him sacrificing himself, and then the Forager becomes a new Green Lantern. It's like, again, there's just so much happening, and it's just like, whoa, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel, and it's like, it's amazing, but at the same time, I'm just thinking like, how much I wish there was more setup? Emotional.
Yeah,
like there was setup for sure. Like even with his sacrifice, because I believe if I'm correct, Kilowog mentioned Kilowog. He mentioned something along the lines of like, hey, be frosty, or make sure you're frosty, which is kind of saying be safe, right? And that's planting the idea.
That's foreshadowing. What I meant by setup is like they didn't really make us care about this character before he died. And that's the only issue with this death. Otherwise, I mean, like, I guess, was he in the Green Lantern animated series or anything like
Not
that?
much. Like, he was a little bit, but he's not a big role.
Yeah,
he didn't have much of a major role.
So I guess Tamare was sort of just more like a character that sacrificed himself and was pretty cool for doing it in this episode only, like standalone. Because we really didn't get to know him much in the previous episodes unless like you really paid attention to what he said in the conferences, but that's the only issue I have. Otherwise, his whole like ideal of like him losing a planet before and not wanting it to happen again in terms of him failing, like that was some epic stuff, and I enjoyed the performance of the voice actor and also like the character in concept. But I do wish that we got to, you know, see him more and really develop a relationship with him before that happened.
Yeah, that. And then like even the fights, like I like the way, like normally the animation bugs me, but this episode the animation didn't bug me at all. It was just, it really looked really smooth.
It was good. It was
really
good,
fluid, and everything going on. One thing that I was a little bit, I guess I was looking, I understand what Mala Fahak was doing by making Rocket and Orion kind of like battle each other, but I just feel like it could have been more tormenting, because for it to be like, let's just replay an issue that they had and make them fight each other for that, it just seemed too convenient, you know? It just seemed like, bruh.
They 100% did that for the plot reasons and trying to like finish Rocket's arc, which is actually probably my only grievance with this episode, was that it felt a little unearned. And it sort of like, what did they really go through together, you know? Almost nothing. They literally just had like tried to look for a device together, and they fought like someone who stole the device, I guess. That's it. Like I just didn't feel any of it, dude. I didn't feel like it was earned. I felt like her understanding was like something she should have already understood in the first place. And it just I'm sorry. I mean, like, let us know your thoughts if you felt like it was earned, but I personally didn't.
I didn't feel like it was unearned, but I do think that I guess see, this is what confuses me about it, because at that moment where she, you know, kind of realizes his pain, I would have thought that at that point she would connect her son, but it seemed like it had to she didn't connect it to her son until they go to the ship. And then at that point, after Orion saying, I know you can handle challenges and whatnot, that's when she connects it. So that part to me confused me, where it's like, I would have thought by that moment.
Two realizations, right? Two different moments of realizations.
Yeah, it was like, they didn't have to do that.
And the flashbacks were a little cheesy, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they were just filling screen time.
That's my like, thing about that. But again, I mean, other than that, because there's so much going on, the whole thing. Yeah, I love the fights.
Yeah, the Lor-Zod fight and with the Green Lantern Tamare, that was some good stuff right there for sure.
Yeah,
like I just really enjoy seeing a Green Lantern using his ring, his or her ring, and just like making it cool. There probably should have been more.
there definitely could have been more. But one thing I really loved was the scene where where Rocket has Lor-Zod in the bubble, and then it's like he has a hard time breaking out, but then he gets so angry and he just breaks out the bubble with his vision. And I'm like, and I don't know why, but something about that kind of reminded me of Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, no, and then he just breaks out. Like, I love that because you could feel his frustration.
Yeah, and then the next part was like grabbing the girl and saying that he's gonna snap her neck if they don't get out of there. That's some like harsh stuff.
It is, but part of me was wondering, can Kid Flash just be super fast to stop him, like, or at least save her? Like,
that's a good question. I mean, he essentially has the same powers as Superman, so he's got to be pretty darn fast as well, you know?
He is, but I don't know. I guess I would imagine Flash being faster, but it is. We'll see what happens with that whole thing. We'll see that. But what was to me very interesting was, I don't know why Superboy wanted Zod to stay in. Like, I thought Superboy would be down to be leaving. Like, it almost seemed like Superboy didn't even want to leave.
I think Superboy knew, like we talked about this last review, and we were like, I said that's two situations. Superboy is completely brain dead, or he actually is fully conscious and aware, and he's just playing along. I feel like this episode is evidence to the fact that he's playing along, so that he can just stop Zod from leaving, because he knows how dangerous he could potentially be.
Okay, that's a fair point. That kind of explains it. I guess for me, I would imagine Superboy wanting to leave. And that's very interesting that the Phantom Zone could only get Zod because that was the request of itself. So it's very interesting how this whole thing, or the projector, sorry, not Phantom Zone projector. So yeah, it's very interesting how these things work. And I liked it because it seemed, it made it funny, because it's like they get their goal, but there's always some sort of obstacle. There's another obstacle. It's like the machine doesn't work, so they need to get it full power. Yeah. Even when they get it full power, they can only get certain people. It's like, I kind of like that. It's a very, you feel the stakes within every move that they make. So like, you can really, really get into that. So yeah. And then another thing that I kind of have to bring up was, although I mentioned the whole Forager, the blue Forager becoming a Green Lantern, the scene between the other two Foragers, this felt too on the nose for me.
Yeah, it's a little overplayed. I feel like the last few episodes, I was like, it's cool, it's cute, it's whatever's, right? But this time it felt like amongst all the cool stuff that was happening, that was one of the weaker elements of the episode, in my opinion.
It was.
And I was cool with Forager fighting like the other bug, but like Mantis, but that stuff was cool. But like her getting that ring didn't feel earned.
Yeah,
like I don't feel like that character really did much to get like for her to earn a green. It's such a cool moment to get a Green Lantern ring, right? But like, but when it went to her, I was just like, is this the best choice you want to make, Ring?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many badass characters right there doing stuff, and you want to choose like her, who pretty much hasn't really done much, you know?
Yeah, exactly. If anything, it would make more sense for Forager to get the ring, but then it also would contradict a lot of his goals. So that's the only thing I would say about that. But to me, what was on the nose,
like, I feel like Orion would have been a great choice.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a perfect. Now you brought him up. Yeah, that
like
actually would have been.
He has to
really
exercise
perfect.
so much willpower to keep himself in control.
Yeah.
That or Red Lantern ring, but
Red Lantern ring. That's actually another thing. He could have got the Red Lantern thing. That's another thing, because he has rage, so that could have worked with him. But yeah, but as far as the moment that I felt was a little bit on the nose was like that when the other Forager was saying Forager knows that Forager has a dilemma, but Forager can fix it. Like, that seems like a literally like explaining the plot. Like, this is the inner turmoil of the character, but I have the resolution. Like, it almost seemed like it was breaking the fourth wall a bit. So it was kind of, that part was kind of a little bit. Which part? So the part was like when the Foragers are both talking. This is before that whole battle. where Forager obviously wants to stay at the that part. And then the other Forager comes in and says, Forager knows Forager's dilemma and wants to.
Wait, that's just the way they talk, dude. Like
it's true, but the way it was presented, it just sounded too.
Honestly, who cares about this? I'd rather talk about anything else but these Foragers. All right.
Okay.
This was one of the least interesting parts of the episode, in my opinion. You got let us know your thoughts. It's totally fine if you disagree, but I just think someone else should have gotten that Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, for the most part. But I guess the last thing I want to mention is just this arc in general, because I think this is why I have a hard time saying this episode is the best episode so far, because there's a lot of things that happen in this episode that I really, really enjoy, and it feels like if you think about it from that, like individually speaking, it's like really, really good, but as an end of an arc, it's tough because to me, this is almost like this whole arc in general has been like the opposite of the Mars arc, where the issues that I had with the Mars arc, this arc does better, but the things that the Mars arc does right, this arc kind of doesn't do as great.
I'm going to say this arc is better than the Mars arc.
I mean, again, personal enjoyment, I've enjoyed it more, but that's because, again, it's more about the plot. A lot of the plot stuff is starting to move forward. Build up and everything is starting to be forward.
They're starting to give some payoffs for the build up, like, for instance, the whole Beast Boy thing last episode, and like finally, and then this episode, there's a good amount of good stuff in this episode.
Yeah, definitely with that. And then like one thing I do like about the Mars arc, or at least what the Mars arc I would say did right, was that it still felt emotionally relevant to McGann. As with this arc, even like again, Jay Garrick, like what was his point of him? Jay Garrick. There we go, Jay Garrick. Like, what was the point of him being there? Like, it just seemed like, I mean, granted, I did like that he stopped he made a tornado, so it made it hard for the villains to go with their plan, but it just seemed like we didn't really need him, you know what I'm saying? And Forager, I mean, it was nice with his thing, but it didn't really seem that relevant, and then even with Rocket, so it's like...
Like I said, it would have been cooler to have someone else there that we knew. Like, we would have at least got more screen time with a character we love versus, like, just remembering, oh yeah, Jay Garrick, he was there, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's he doesn't need... Whoever, like, I'm thinking of Blue Beetle. Like, Blue Beetle doesn't necessarily need any, like, solid relationships with anyone there. It would have just been cool to see him there, or at least a whole bunch of other characters too.
Yeah, I just think they would have more. They could have made them more relevant.
Yeah,
or something like that. So that's the only downfall. But again, this episode, going back to the positives, there's so much that happened in this episode. I love the way the animation looked. Things were being resolved. Even now that Phantom Girl is now woken up, what's gonna happen with that? Or is Phantom Girl gonna be able to get Superboy out, or is she gonna warn him? What's going on with that? So there's so much things that happen in this episode that it's hard for me to say it's a horrible episode. And to me, I think maybe I have to rewatch season 4, but so far it's been the most episode I've enjoyed. So yeah,
it's a good episode for sure. I was laughing because I was thinking of that moment that Zod was like, "Get off me, you fool!" to Superboy. It's like, I want to get out. He didn't say that verbatim, but it was something along those lines. It was funny.
Yeah, man.
I totally think Superboy is playing dumb. I hope so.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. But I mean, I still can't get over the fact that she freaking destroyed the freaking projector. I just love that, because it's like that's how you know this is like an ending of like an act 2. Because you know how like movies you have, or stories you have, like a act 1, act 2, and the act 2 where the character actually gets the goal and they're almost about to reach the goal, and then bam, disaster happens. It's like, oh no. So it's very interesting. And
it would have been so weird if they got Superboy out right when Zatanna was starting to do her thing, right?
Yeah, I would have really be like, what was the point of Zatanna if Superboy came out? I was gonna like rant about this Zatanna thing if Superboy got out. So basically, we wasted our whole time with Zatanna being like, let's get Superboy out.
But it's literally perfect setup for Nightwing. So yeah.
So yeah, that's perfect. But I guess we can move on to the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's move on to the next comments. So I'll start off with RK says, I think number one, he lists it with numbers. He says, I think Darkseid made a deal with Lor-Zod because he wants the Krypton DNA. 2, this will give Darkseid the chance to create his Doomsday Army, which actually helps him conquer the planet in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
Yeah,
Apocalypse War. 3, Darkseid honors his deals, and I believe that he wants. Let me read that. I believe that he didn't want to use Halo immediately. If he did, he wouldn't brought Halo to Apocalypse.
He would have brought
Halo to Apocalypse. And then 4, I like how Vandal, Savage, and Darkseid are different. Darkseid is the worse ruler than Savage, as we can see the conditions on Apocalypse. It's worse than Savage's Earth. Okay, that's
good theories. Good theories overall.
Yeah.
The Kryptonian DNA thing is interesting. I guess if he were to free the others, they could use their DNA, but couldn't Lor-Zod also just like offer some DNA, you know?
Yeah.
Or just get it from Superman or Superboy or Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible.
Yeah. All right. I'll read the next one.
Mm.
I'm gonna summarize it. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Marknificent 01 said, in reference to the treadmill, I don't know if like we've seen Justice League Dark. I actually have seen Justice League Dark. Have you?
Justice League Dark? I think I have. It's been a while.
It's the one with like Batman and I think like Zatanna and them. But in that, Flash was running on a treadmill machine. So he can produce a lot of power, and more than likely going back in time consumes a lot of energy. So yeah, but it looks like they didn't go back in time, right? When they were using Bioship?
Yeah, it didn't seem like it.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it. I guess they were using it to travel quickly because they had to have reached New Genesis somehow. So maybe they used it. I don't know. It looked like they were in some sort of weird like space, you know?
It did.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was time travel or if they were just like going super fast.
Yeah, I mean, part of me would assume it would be time travel because the way that Lor-Zod just came to their ship and everything seemed like he's going to force them to go back in time to stopping them from destroying the Phantom Projector.
Yeah, maybe. But we'll see. It'll probably be clearer in the next few episodes.
Yeah. I'll try to sum this up. Scott Summers 6116 says, I agree with you that as much as we love the intensity of this episode, we're kind of disappointed that Rocket didn't get any screen time, especially since it is basically the end of her arc, and this is really the resolution of it. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it was a weak arc, honestly. That's just the best way we can put it.
It's a weak character arc, I would say. But in terms of plot,
in terms of plot, it was great. Yeah, sorry.
It was an amazing plot. Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification. It was a great arc overall, but for the character herself, it was like whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Shanley Samboy, I'm gonna summarize. So in the Mars arc, Phantom Girl said that she wasted a lot of energy, so she was probably super tired, and once she went in the Phantom Zone, state of the person does not really change. So yeah, I mean, we saw her wake up in this one, so I guess outside forces can affect the Phantom Zone and change things, which is pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely plays a role.
There was like a lot of references to the comics in this episode. They mentioned the green eye for Lor-Zod when he saw it in Metron's vault is the Emerald Eye, a weapon or Esmerald Eye, sorry.
Okay.
Used by the Esmerald Empress. The character is a member of the Fatal Five, enemies of the Legion of Superheroes. Interesting.
Okay.
I feel like the Fatal Five sounds very familiar. Like, was there like a Superman movie about the Fatal Five? I'm not sure. I think I might have seen that, but yeah. But that's a cool. Thanks for the Easter egg. Another reference was the Kryptonian that was part of General Zod's group, who has a symbol of the House L. So that was very interesting. I didn't notice that.
Me either.
So one of them is, according to the credits, his name is Cruel, so like cruel. And he's the cousin of Jor-El, brilliant inventor imprisoned for developing dangerous weapons. That's also a very nice Easter egg. I really appreciate this comment. And the last one, I'm guessing this is supposed to be in reference to Tamare, who revealed that Krypton was part of his sector. This happened in the comics too, but the interesting part is that in Young Justice, he was a friend of the House of L, making things more personal. If Lor-Zod frees his dad, Lor-Zod, and allies, maybe Tamare would recognize Cruel, who knows? Well, he's dead now, so. But that context actually makes his death more interesting. Maybe the planet he was talking about was Krypton.
Yeah, wasn't he talking about Krypton?
Yeah. I thought he was just talking about like a planet he couldn't save. I'm not.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if it was Krypton.
The
commenter is Shane Lee Samboy saying he was friends with someone from the House of L, but in this Young Justice episode there wasn't necessarily anything saying that he couldn't save Krypton.
Oh, okay.
If there was, I didn't catch it.
Yeah. Okay. I thought. Obviously last episode. I was thinking about last episode, but this episode. Yeah, that would be interesting. Although it would make it. You know, if he was referring to it, I don't know why couldn't he just say the name. So, but if he is referring to it, it'd be more interesting if he said the name. But if that is the case, that's even more deep when you think about it. But I'm gonna read this one. I am not going to give you my name says, did anybody notice how BB's green skin shift to a more normal human tone? I didn't
notice that. No. I'll have to look back on that.
Yeah, me too. I will admit it does seem less darker, if I'm correct, because it used to be more darker. Now it's less darker.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Sidma said they did try to get Cyborg to do boom tubes, but he was too far away and he couldn't lock on the location. That's when they made the connection through the satellites. Lor blew it up before he finished. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a detail that I totally missed, but that's a good counterpoint to why they didn't call up Cyborg for a boom tube.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess other boom tubes from like Mother Box is just like more OP. I don't know. It's just it seems like they can just go anywhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. Tevla Smokla says, I love the show. Seeing Zod's influence Superboy is very interesting, but also very creepy. Well, after this episode, Scott might be right that Superboy's just kind of pretending.
We'll see. Yeah, we're not sure. AC Dub Films said it's gonna be super awkward if Lor releases Dru-Zod and the other Kryptonians from the zone. If Connor is revealed to be alive, it's totally possible that number one, the whole reason that Darkseid took up Lor's offer goes out the window because Superboy isn't dead. Oh, interesting. I didn't consider that point.
Me either.
And then both Connor and Phantom Girl will be in danger if Lor reveals the Kryptonian to who they really are. That's true. I feel like they're already going to be in danger now.
Yeah.
And then number three, everyone who cares for Connor will find out that they grieve for nothing. I mean, that's better. That's like Artemis, you know, like it's all good. Everyone forgave them for that, I think.
Yeah. And then it's not like they were...
Yeah, go for it.
And it's not like they were pretending, so...
Yeah. Number four, Phantom Girl's presence while unconscious basically screws up the Legion's effort to fix the timeline. Well, she's conscious now, so don't worry. Number five, Lor's going to find out that he failed to kill Superboy and that the Legion could still be born in the future. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But, I think that would be all for the comments.
Yeah.
So, let us know. I mean... what your thoughts about this episode.
Appreciate the comments, guys. Like, I'm looking forward to this final arc for Young Justice. So we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
All right. Peace.